Transition from W-2 to entrepreneur. So we kicked off season 4 with episode number 164, talking about this very same topic. I think there was another episode that we talked about this as well. And so it's a big concern with not only these guys, but members of the W2 Capitalist community. So we bring it up again, and we just love talking about it and helping one another out. So, and we encourage one another to find the time to rest, something that's super important, probably not talked about a whole lot. And making your mind and body rest. I struggle with the mind, not so much the body. I struggle with the mind. And is Jeff going to take a stab at being a general contractor? Chances are you're going to stick around to season 5 to find out about that. But if you want to chat about anything, this is the last episode of season 4. Just realize that as I'm recording this intro, this is the last episode. So once again, if there's anything you want to chat about, and we've discussed here in season 4 or in this episode, I'm going to give you my cell phone number at the end. So be sure to stick around. This is episode number 188 of the W2 Capitalist podcast.
If you truly believe you've put in the time that is required to build your business, then you can let yourself enjoy the time off. It's if you're on your time off that you don't enjoy it, that you should feel like maybe you didn't do enough to get it.
Yeah, I get that.
Sometimes on my time off, I get more done.
Yeah.
You ever had that? Where more stuff hits while you're on vacation?
Let your brain rest. Yeah. You have to let your brain rest. There has to, like, I saw something the other day. I can't remember where I saw it. Like, but it
was a W2 Capitalist community. That's where you saw it, right?
That was it. Yeah.
But you got to get bored sometimes. You got to be able to like just unplug, and because your brain. I remember what I saw. It was Jim Carrey, and he was talking about depression, and he was talking to somebody that he knows or whatever, and it was something about like it's not depressed, it's like deep rest or something like that. It's your body telling you that it's not that you're doing anything bad or not doing enough. It's telling you that you need to take a deep rest in order to, reset and refocus.
I cannot remember the last time I was bored. I don't know.
Well, maybe you need to.
I don't disagree with that. What I will say is we have a lot of momentum and a lot of energy right now with all of our different businesses that has me jacked. I love that line from The Big Short. It has me jacked to the tits. I mean, I am super pumped, excited. I'm having, you're supposed to make 2 impactful connections a day, right? To really effectively grow your business. I'm probably making 4 or 5, and it's incredible. I mean, I never, like, just for an example, if the closing happens on Friday, we will be able to brand, or send the message out market that W2 Capital can close loans as quick as 5 days, right? If it doesn't happen on Friday, it's going to happen on Monday, and then we say as quick as 7 days, whatever.
Right.
But if everything in our pipeline closes before the end of October, we would have originated $1 million in loans in the first 2 months. And so that's just one piece of what we have going on. And what's led up to that is this last 3 or 4 months of really just sitting down and balls to the wall. I will tell you this though, Jeff, I feel like I'm going to rest this weekend because we have to leave. We have somebody coming to our house tomorrow. And so we're actually going to go, we're going to skip over to Perdido Key, which is where it all kind of started for us here in Florida. We haven't been back since we moved away. It's like an hour and a half away. And we got a condo on the beach, and we're just going to hang out over there.
Nice.
For the weekend.
Sounds horrible.
Sounds miserable.
Here's the funny thing though. So my son started soccer. Okay. And they've been practicing. We're like, all right, well, let's go ahead and book over Pretty Doki. The day after we book it, we get the schedule. First game is Friday night. So not only is it first game, but they're doing this big, huge thing like celebration and whatnot. So we'll be driving back and then driving back over. And so we'll have a little bit of travel. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Crying for you.
Yeah. It's rough life, right? Jamie, you want to hear some interesting news?
Yes, I do. And I hate to throw this in there, but I've got to run pretty soon. But okay. Yes, let me hear your interesting news.
Are you going to get Jeff's O'Brien Holmes hat? Is that because I noticed you got a new one on tonight?
No, this is new. I've had this one. This is,
but it's different.
Just the green with the leather. I don't have any more of this. This is my last leather hat that I have.
Yeah, fuck his hats.
Jeff. Well, now you're not going to get one, but I actually found a box that fits a hat. It's in my garage right now. I just haven't boxed it up and sent it to you. So maybe you won't get it for a little while because of that last comment.
Well, he's not going to be home for a while. So it's.
Yeah.
No, I'm leaving Friday. I'm leaving Friday.
That's true. That's true.
I don't give a shit what's going on here.
Oh, it'll be there when it'll be there.
Birthday party, man. You got to make it to the birthday party, right?
If it's Friday and I'm pull out and our houses are on fire, I'm just gonna.
You're still gone.
I'm rolling.
You got to make it to the birthday party.
Got to.
So I don't know if you saw me earlier. I'm like looking down at my phone and getting distracted. Preston texted me and he said, "Hey, I just tagged you in a Facebook post."
Uh-huh.
And he said, "You might want to check it out before it's taken down." Our property managers, our recent fired property manager's wife has been caught on security cameras stealing at some retail shop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that doesn't hurt.
No. Once again, it seems like we made a really good decision moving away.
Oh man. It's just be careful who you do business with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. Wild. People will always take care of themselves first.
Yeah, that's impressive.
They
did I asked for a copy of the insurance policy they're supposed to have that will indemnify us if they do anything wrong. And I didn't get that. I got they apparently opened a claim on their insurance. And their adjuster or appraiser went out today. And they're talking with our attorney about what to do. So there's
some movement.
We'll see what happens, but I feel like there's going to be some sort of settlement that we come through, and we're not talking about just the cost to demo and put that unit back together. We're talking about more, right? Like,
well, there was
like almost 15 grand in unpaid rents where no notices were provided.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Still got to manage the manager, but I mean, but it doesn't help when the record keeping is not accurate. Yeah.
Look at Jeff yawning too. Brody's already asleep.
I do want to talk to Jamie about something real quick before he bails. I have decided to dabble my toes in the general contracting.
Oh, don't do it.
Did you hear how quickly you didn't even ask a question. He just interrupted you very quickly.
Well, no. So you're go ahead, continue. Is that it? Was that all you wanted to say?
I want to hear what you have to say.
I think your situation is a little different. You've already got a team of actual employees built. I think that will help a lot.
See, so it's different.
Yeah, it is different. And you I think have knowing you probably have perfected your systems a little bit better than I did when I tried to jump into it. And I think having your own employees as a core team is very important. Very important.
I agree.
So,
And that's part of why I want to do it, because in this ever changing market, like we aren't buying as many houses as we would. Not that we're not buying houses, but it's nice to have other options because for different cash flow. And like, while I could call all my guys tomorrow and say don't show up the next day,
right.
and they're all 1099. So, but I don't want that. I feel like we have a pretty good team assembled. So I'm trying to see if it makes sense to maybe dabble in that a little bit. And like, while Jamie, like you had to take everything and anything, like, because it was something new,
Mhm.
like I still have projects going on.
Right.
I figure I should do it now to kind of like either test the waters or get a system
Yep.
figured out. And then that way, like, whether we buy less houses or not, like I can keep this crew together and still make money off of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think it makes sense to try and keep your guys busy and keep a crew, especially if you have a good team. And that was kind of part of my thought process as well. And I'm sure you know this, the rehabbing for someone else is a lot different than rehabbing your own home, especially when it comes to budgets, right?
Mm.
And then that affects profit. When you go into a flip, depending on what you're looking at, I mean, you were talking 20 to 100, whatever your number is, profit. If you go over budget a little bit, probably no big deal. What I learned really quickly in the general contracting is if you're running off like a 20%, 10%, 15%, whatever your number is, let's say 20% profit cushion, depending on the size of the job, that can evaporate very quickly.
So this is my general, and again, like I'm just, I don't have to do it, but I'm just kind of like exploring it to have other options. To me, I was gonna like, if somebody needs something, you go out there, you see what they need, figure out how many men, how long it would take. It's just a ballpark, and how much material. And then you take the material you think you need and add 20%, and the labor that you think you need and add 40%.
Yeah.
Does that to you? Or
I mean, I think that would work, and maybe that's part of where I failed, or have had struggles, is maybe I didn't add enough profit margin. And so there's a balance between pricing competitively and winning jobs and all of that. But again, if you're doing it and you want to pick and choose the jobs that make sense, I think there is definitely something to bidding a number that makes sense for you and taking the jobs that come with that number.
Well,
You know what
here's the luxury I have, is that I don't care if they take my job or not.
Right.
I'm gonna tell them what makes sense for me,
Yep.
and they can either take it or leave it. Whereas, I understand it was, you kind of had to be a little more competitive.
Yeah.
So I think that works for me. Plus, like, all these guys, like, you were kind of dealing with like people that were basically subs, more or less.
Yep.
And these guys literally have worked for me 40 to 50 hours a week for the last, year or so.
I think that's helpful, man. I really
And
do.
like they are ride or die. Like they love working for me, according to them. I'm not
We're
just
still here.
pulling this out of nowhere. But like I just want to have, like, if we buy less houses, like we're kind of wrapping up some projects and we're getting kind of close towards the end, and we're kind of like keeping an eye on the market to see like what to do properly. But I love these guys, and I think I have an exceptional crew assembled, and I would hate to like lose them if I can't keep them busy.
Yep.
And I get calls all the time of wanting me to do work for them, which,
Right.
how horrible of a problem, but it allows me to, like, I don't have to be quote unquote desperate. Like, I can just kind of, like, if somebody's being reasonable and I give them a price that makes sense for them and makes sense for me, then we can go to work. And I know my guys are always going to do a quality work. So that makes me want to at least, like, have that avenue set up and ready to go, given whatever,
I would definitely go ahead.
Nope, you first.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think it's worth taking a shot, worth taking a few jobs, figuring it out. I mean, my advice, I guess, one thing that I think I could have done different. I don't regret any of it, but I mean, maybe start with some smaller, kind of more basic jobs, bathroom remodels, kitchens, something like that. I mean, we took on a full 2,000 square foot basement, and that one didn't turn out as well as I wanted to from a profit standpoint. From a product standpoint, it's amazing. I'm very proud of it. But that I think makes a lot of sense. And you can, kind of those quick turn jobs, the ones you can get in and out of in a few weeks to a month.
Right. And that's what I want. Like, and I want to be able to pick and choose. And I want to be able to do it now while, like, we have other projects. And not that we won't have other projects. I'm not saying we're going to stop buying houses, but we're definitely not going to do it at the clip that we've done it, in the past, at least for now. So I just think we have a good enough team to where we can kind of, pivot and refine and kind of, pick and choose our options.
So, I think you do too, man. I mean, you've done exponentially more projects in the last 2 years than I have with your team, right? And so, I mean, I think that cohesiveness of understanding what you expect and the processes you go through with your properties will transfer for sure.
Yeah, and I make it clear to the guy who goes out and looks at the project. I make it clear to the person we're coming to see, like, we're going to handle what we feel we can handle. And if we have a sub that can fill that gap, then great. But we're not going to take on something that we don't feel we can take on.
Right.
So I feel like it's better to do it now, to where if shit hits the fan and we just stop buying houses altogether, like, I already have a infrastructure set up.
I agree.
You just need the license, right? Yeah.
Well,
so 4 questions for you, Jeff. Real quick. 4. These are all coming from the book, The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. Okay. So the 4. So
right. I've got to go, guys. I'm sorry. Right. I've got to run.
Well, I'm glad you stuck around for that. Thank you.
You want me to stick around for this, Jay?
I want to
man.
Put on it.
I want you to go box up Jeff's hat and be good with
it.
All right.
Mail it.
We'll see you next time.
All right. See. Is Brody still here or no?
I'm still here. I'm thinking about going to bed too.
All right. Well, 4 questions for Jeff, and then we'll call it a night. How does becoming a general contractor, it sounds like you already know this, but how does becoming a general contractor align with help you achieve your goals, right? That's question number 1.
One at a time?
Well, I'm curious. Do you have a quick answer for that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's always about making money and
keeping your team together seemed like was the biggest priority.
Together, making money, not having as much as an investment as, like, buying a house and fixing it up. It's just kind of like Jamie was saying, if you can get in and out in a couple of weeks, go for it. Like, that's kind of my goal. Like, I don't want to take on some kind of, like,
and these are 4 questions I've been asking myself on any new opportunity, right? So that's the first one. How does it align with my big goals? And if I can answer quickly, like you just did, and you did while you or Jamie were talking, it makes sense to go to the next 3 questions, right? If there's ever a pause and should you pursue it or not, or how does it align to your goals? The answer is a quick no. Like, all right, we're done with that conversation, right? But you answered it quickly, you answered it confidently, you got a game plan. The next 3 questions are, what are the ups? What's the upside? What's the downside? And then the kicker is, can you live with the downside?
So the upside is making money, and I enjoy it, to be honest. I really just feel like I have just a really badass crew. And while they're not perfect, and neither am I, like I think they're just a great crew, and they have my back, and I know that, and I have full confidence in them.
What about the downside? What's the worst thing that could happen?
Somebody suing us, I guess.
We got insurance cover that though, right?
Yeah.
So can you live with lawsuits coming your way?
I think if you can't deal with lawsuits, then you need to find.
You don't need to be in real estate investing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Man, but they're stressful though, man. They are.
What's stressful?
I guess because this is the this year is the first time I've ever had to hire a lawyer for anything other than a closing, right? To actually go after.
To me, it's a graduation. To me,
that's true.
That's when you know you've arrived.
You've arrived. Yeah. Well, I've arrived times 5 this year.
Nobody's suing you. You ain't important. Right?
Well, maybe so. I mean, we actively started in 2022. So it took us 8 years to graduate, and man, did we graduate with honors, because we've had 5 pending litigation issues this year.
Yeah, to me, if you're not ready for lawsuits, then or if you don't expect them, then you need to find a different job. It's coming. It's coming. That's just part of the game.
Learned a lot about that whole side of the business this year.
And the quicker you get sued, the more you'll learn to where you can handle the next one. Right.
Well, and it's one of those things too, like, going back to our first property when we were buying our first property, how much I stressed over that and how I kept telling myself these horror stories that were going to happen. None of them came true, and so the first litigation that we entered, all of these, we've been on the offensive, because nobody's like effectively sued us yet. I guess that's a different kind of graduation. It was, I didn't know what I was going into, didn't know how much time it was going to cost or your resources it was going to consume. And so there was a lot like I stressed over because I was telling myself these stories that just simply never came true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Grant says, it's hard to be poor. It's hard to be rich.
Choose your hard.
Pick your hard.
Yeah.
I'll take the rich problems over the poor problems.
Yeah. When you leave a review, and I hope you do, don't forget to tell us who you are and leave 5 stars. That's from Dirty Jobs Micro. Listen, guys, if you're interested in exploring any of the products or services that I use to make my real estate investing career easier, or you want to explore joining us in the W2 Capitalist community where you can hang out with guys like myself, Brody, Jamie, and Jeff on a routine basis, there's going to be a link somewhere in the description or comments or something like that, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. But as promised, if you have any questions whatsoever, or you feel like I can help you in anything we talk about here today on this episode or any of the previous episodes, send me a text. I was going to say, give me a call, but chances are, if you're not in my phone book, I'm not going to answer. So send me a text. Let me know what episode you're listening to and how I can potentially help you. We'll find a time to get on a call. Okay. My cell phone number is 205-249-0248.